Thanks to the bravery of McDonald's employees in New York, along with KFC and Burger King workers, CEOs across America are taking heed of a revolution which is in its ground floor but is developing. Why do I say revolution? Well, let's just look back at Black Friday. Thousands of Walmart workers walked out on the job. Now, it was very minor compared to what was anticipated. And I don't blame workers for not participating because I'm sure that their bosses took them aside, probably had meetings, and explained either outright or between the lines what would happen to their jobs should they participate in this strike. Now, I got to give some credit to the Hostess employees. They were unionized. They had made concessions in the past, but they had to draw the line somewhere. And they sacrificed their own livelihoods, their own jobs, and the amounts of their future pensions, which is reduced in a bankruptcy, for the betterment of the country, for the betterment of the working people. And why isn't it important that a McDonald's worker get paid a decent wage? Well, for one thing, just sheer decency. The cost of living has went up every single year for the last 30 years. So what does that leave an employee who's working a minimum wage job which stays stagnant? It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. But also, people in the upper percentiles of income like to complain about government programs and entitlement programs. What just so happens, the majority of people on food stamps are the working poor, people who work for McDonald's or Walmart or Burger King or companies like that. And they should be able to make a living if they are working really hard. That's the American dream. Now, let's keep in mind, a lot of people think that a job at McDonald's or Burger King is just like a way station while someone waits to get their permanent job or their college degree. Well, the average restaurant worker, fast food restaurant, is 28 years old. So people are trying to make a living doing this. It's hard work. We need to eat, and we need to reward these people with a decent salary. $15 in New York is not that much. In New Jersey, hey, maybe it should be $14 an hour. In Florida, maybe $11, $12 an hour. But this $7, $8 an hour minimum wage has got to go. Now, Chris Christie, who really helped his own cause by being bipartisan with the president after the hurricane, has a bill on his desk which is slated to raise the minimum wage in New Jersey, but only to about 8 something an hour. That's not enough. And even if he rejects it, that's even worse. So we can't rely on government. We've got to do what the people at McDonald's are doing, whether you work for a security company or a restaurant or a factory. We have the right to organize. And even as individuals, we have the right to not work for a certain wage. I say you stick with your job, but you can constantly look for another job that's going to pay you more. The turnover will be so overwhelming to these companies that what's going to happen is they're going to have to pay more just to keep their employees. A good example is a company like Costco. Vice President Biden visited, and I think in a show of support, because these guys, they don't spend money on advertising, and they don't have a huge profit like Walmart does. The reason they don't profit so much isn't because they don't take in the money, it's because they pay their employees. The average Costco employee makes over $20 an hour. Back in the 90s, Home Depot used to pay their employees $15 to $20 an hour, and that company grew like I've never seen a company grow before. When you pay the employees, it goes back into the economy. It stimulates everything without a stimulus bill from the government. So I applaud McDonald's workers. You're not only standing up for yourself, you're patriots trying to save the 99% from the 1%.